Hola, Pioncillos. Welcome back to the Offerings of Copan podcast. This is your host, Cihua Mazatl. Today's episode is devoted to the new year in the sacred count, the year of 13 Calli. I promised you last week that the next episode would be an episode where we would explore the overall themes or the overarching themes of this year and what are some of the possibilities we can see playing out on the world stage. Now, this isn't just any year. We're standing on the edge of something huge, huge, big, big, big. It is the closing of a Tlalpilli, which is like 13-year cycles, the 52-year cycle in the Mexica calendar. And truly, we are on the precipice of that new fire and a new sun. My teacher once told me that the count would end in 2026 and that the new sun would arrive, but she also told me something important, that she couldn't tell me what it meant because we were meant to find out together. And I remember this moment being something that was particularly mind-blowing and just shrouded in mystery and excitement. And as we've gotten closer to this year, I'm starting to see how it truly is an ending of a larger cycle collectively and individually. That's the kind of year that we're walking into, a year of collective remembering and deepening our raíces or reestablishing them, a year where home is not only a place, it's a question. Now, we are currently on Sunday, March 23rd, and we're already around halfway into the first veintena of Atlacawalo. And I'm using my sacred count agenda for this. Thank you to everybody that has placed your order. I'm very humbled by your response. We just started the spring equinox on the 20th. So this is the perfect time to have this conversation and to really start deepening our practice and envisioning a new possibility, a new future for each and every one of us. It's a perfect time to start doing your vision boards and to start your spring cleaning. The number 13 is the final tone in the sacred Tlalpilli cycle. It's about culmination, completion, the final breath before the new beginning. And Calli means house, the home. This is the year of completing a structure, of closing doors, of refortifying, or of protecting what's sacred. But what does that mean when we zoom out? Because home isn't just about personal space. It's our land, our body, our nation, our environment, our planet, our ancestors, our sacred memory. Right now, all over the world, we're being faced with massive questions about borders, belonging, and displacement, and what it means to be a participating citizen of the world, of this planet. Who belongs in the house? Who has been exiled? Who runs the house? And what do we do when someone we didn't choose is standing in our living room, breaking everything that matters to us? Because that really is how it feels. And regardless of what side of the spectrum you're on, I think this is a shared feeling that we're all experiencing, from violent shifts in government to the rise of colonial nationalism to displaced refugees and indigenous resistance. The systems we've relied on are no longer sheltering us. Many of us are realizing that maybe they never did. And at the same time, we're being called inward to build altars, to sweep the floors of our soul, to reclaim what home actually means to us. This is the year to ask, what am I protecting? What has overstayed its welcome? What does belonging mean to me? What do I need to let die so the house can finally breathe? And beyond the four walls that contain us, also looking at the questions of our body. Is our soul comfortable in in this body? What are we doing to take care of it? Everything has a spirit, from the body to the four walls that surround us. And it's time to ask those things that shelter us, that protect us, what it needs, especially our Madrecita Tonantzin, the earth. What does she need? How can we give her that spring cleaning beyond spring cleaning, right? How can we help her? 13 Calli says, don't run away. It says, come home. But come home to something new, something you built with your own hands, your own prayers, your own blueprint. We're collectively closing an era, an age, and it's up to us what rises from the ashes. We begin this year's calendar cycle on March 12th, at least with this correlation that I follow here. And what I love about this correlation is that we begin the year just as life is beginning to wake up after the cold season, especially if you live on the northern hemisphere. We begin right around the equinox as things are beginning to change, as we're starting to receive that clarity and new vision for what is possible. I feel it. I feel it within me. I feel this vibrant energy of suddenly I can see some of these things that were clouded even just a couple of days ago. And I recently had someone express that they like when I bring in some Western astrology into the mix. Right now, March 23rd, we are currently in the midst of two retrogrades. We have Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde, which are both asking us to truly reflect, rest, all the RE words in regards to our love lives, our relationships with community, with family, with our lovers, and also how we communicate and how it is that we navigate the world. When we look at Mercury, we're looking at how we really get from place to place on a colloquial level, the everyday movement in our lives, and what may need reviewing at this time. And so, if things have been feeling a little crazy or like they've been turned upside down, just know that it's right on time. And this isn't the time to begin something new. We're almost there. Just bear with me here. We're almost there. But as we're looking here at Tlacahualo, we're looking at the initiation of a new trecena of Itzcuintli, which just started on the 21st. Itzcuintli, the dog, really does ask us to look at our relationships to others, what it is that we're loyal to and how it is that we're loyal to ourselves as well. And so this is how we begin the year, really reviewing and looking back at what it is that we've established relationally and where it is that we're going. Are these relationships going to go with us? What relationships do we have with our home and the things that we love? When we're looking at Venus, it's not just people, it's also what we've consumed, right? It's the everyday objects in our lives, how we present ourselves in the world. And I feel there are a lot of things that are really just coming up to review. It is definitely that spring cleaning vibe that we're beginning with the year. So if you're feeling it, embrace it, dive in. The time for the new things and initiating those new projects is just around the corner. So be patient and take advantage of this really potent energy that we're beginning the year with. As challenging as it may be, once we clear through this energy, we'll be able to truly see the value and how it's really swept our lives clean for the better. for come April, we're really diving into the home with a trecena of Calli going into Coscacuautli again. So this is, I feel, a really great opportunity to ask yourself the bigger questions about the year and just your life, the big book of your life. Is it time to close a chapter? I think some bigger questions are definitely in alignment for this year. So I think April, especially mid-April, which coincides with the ending of that Secali Trecena. By that time, I think we'll have a lot more clarity and be able to take action toward what it is that we want to begin. And honestly, we also have a Trecena of Secos Cacuautli that it begins April 16th. And so, especially if you've been on the go, these last weeks, months, I feel it's going to be a great opportunity to slow down and rest and allow things to come to you. So I think that's going to be a great shift. This year begins with Olin, the energy of movement, and ends with Tochli, a symbol of abundance and sensitivity. That alone tells a story, from shift to softness, from motion to nourishment. And that is something that alone tells a journey that we're going to go on this year and everything else in between. I think something important of note when it comes to this year is in the summer. So that's just a couple of months away. We have May, we're looking at a Trecena Hecat, which is going to be all that news, that information that you've been waiting for. I think that Trecena, honestly, is going to involve a lot of communication of news and information, either in technology or we're going to be sharing things privately, especially given the political environment that we're in. I feel that there's going to be a lot of talk happening. La gente, el chisme. El chisme is going to be necessary. That's what I see. I'm seeing people talking about, did you hear this? There's going to be a lot of shifts in communication and passing on of information during that time. And yeah, I think that's going to really help shift us into that quietly Trecena that's coming into, which is us really falling into our own leadership roles. So I think when quietly comes around, I think a lot more people are going to be picking up the leadership in their personal spaces, and which is necessary. There's so many of us. So there's going to be more pockets of community-led movements is part of what I'm feeling here. Because this year really does feel like, how are we defending our home, coming together in that way? And so these are just some of the little things that I'm seeing as I'm moving through the calendar. But I do want to get to June 20th, and I want you guys to all write it down. June 20th, we're beginning the veintena of Etzalcoatlisli. And this veintena veintenas in this particular correlation begin with Zipacli. And Zipacli symbolizes new beginnings, sustainability, long-term energy management, amongst many other things. Zipacli is the crocodile. Now, this veintena not only begins on the summer solstice, but it also begins a new trecena of Zipacli. So this is definitely a day to mark on your calendars. If there's something you want to begin, something new, something that you want to last a long time, this is the day that you want to aim. That launch date, you want to start a business, you want to start a program or something. This is the day. It's symbolic because it's one falling on the solstice and a new trecena, Zipacli. And if, let's say, you're not ready to launch something, I at least would hope that this would be the day that you want to journal and write down any ideas that are floating in your head. You could be planting new seeds. This is the day to plant the new seeds. So I want you to pay attention to what are the conversations, what are the thoughts that you're having, especially around this date. This could be a new cycle of collective meaning, identity, or movement that is being seeded at this time. Moving through, we have a couple of other symbolic dates, that fall on either a new moon or a full moon that should be of note. Like, for example, the next veintena beginning on July 10th begins on a full moon, Sipakli. Again, this is also another day, with potent energy to plant seeds. That particular veintena too, we have a new moon falling on Cuautli as well. So that could be like releasing any responsibility or like leadership roles that, I think that's a good day to clear your plate so that you have more time and energy, for your own personal vision. And let's see, moving through August now, we have Xochitl Trecena, July 30th through August 10th. So that's going to be a good time to bring things to completion as well. I see this August being really joyful and just enjoying the blooms of your labor, and then having to be a little organized towards mid-August, a little bit more organized with like planning and things towards the end with that Akat Tresena, which Akat Tresenas or Akat days are one of my personal favorites. And come September, we are looking at a Tresena of Mikisli. So we have August 24th through September 5th is a Tercena Mikisli. I think this Tercena is worth noting as well because it's a time of rest. If you feel tired or if there's a need to slow down or you're starting to realize that certain endings are necessary, closures, that kind of thing, that this is what's going to be coming up during this time. So this is a great time to honor ancestors and give offerings of thanks and just allow yourself to take that back seat. You really do need that rest in order to make those changes and enact the transformations that you want to see in your life. And rest is necessary. So that's going to be a beautiful time as well. And on the 6th, we begin a Trecena of Kiyawit, which is going to bring in a lot of blessings and just clarity, beautiful energy for us all. And as we go through the year, you might notice shifts in your own energy as the Tresenas change. And I encourage you to take a moment to connect with them and take your own notes in your personal relationship with these Tresenas. For you might feel drawn towards certain actions or emotions. None of that is an accident. These Tresenas hold the rhythm and we're invited to dance with it. And remember, this is new territory. These interpretations are not fixed or traditional. They're invitations to observe, reflect, and build a relationship with the energies at play. No matter what count you follow, your personal work with the calendar will go as deep as you're willing it to go, as you're willing to explore it. Because at the end of the day, the relationships and the definitions and the symbolism of these energies are so personal. Your definition of ocelot might differ greatly from mine, especially if you have a personal experience with the ocelot or the cuautli. There are people, for example, that live in regions where the cuautli or the eagle is visible and they can go on hikes. I'm actually saying this from somebody that I know that can go on hikes and interact with these eagles and see them. And this is something that they can see every day. Where me, for example, I saw a bald eagle for the first time in nature only last year. And it was in a completely unexpected place and it blew my mind. But Therefore, my relationship with the eagle is going to be very different than somebody else's relationship with the eagle. And of course, there's other eagles, and we're not going to dive into that. But that is my point, is that we each have individual relationships with the different tonales. And therefore, not only are the broad definitions going to be applicable, but also the personal ones. And it's up to us to build those relationships. Now, for this next part, I did promise that I would do individual predictions for each of the tonales. And so if you don't know your tonal, or you would like to explore what it means to be born under one of these signs, you can always request a tonalamat reading from me. You can find the link in the description or on my website. These readings offer insight into your personal energy, imprint, and guidance for walking in deeper alignment with your purpose. If you choose to use this tool, that's really what it is. It's a tool. Or if you have your tonal already, you can think about this as you look at your day tonal, and if you want to go a step deeper, you could you can listen to the predictions about the hour tonal. So we have our hour and our day, and you can listen to your trecena tonal as well. But these are all themes that we're going to be exploring. Now let's move into the messages for each of the 20 tonales, reflections on your relationship to home, this year's collective energy, and how to best move with what is unfolding. All right, and we're going to go in order, and I'm hoping I'll definitely be able to timestamp these on YouTube, but when it comes to the podcast, you're going to have to know the order. So if you have the calendar, you could look at any of the ventanas to see the order of the tonales, and that's how we're going to do it. So the first tonal is Sikpakli, and this is the crocodile. So for you, home is the seed, and you, Sikpakli, are being asked to start again, only this time with more awareness. What is the ecosystem that you are building? Look at that ecosystem, and is it functioning in the way that you need it to? What needs to be changed? This year offers you the chance to nourish your foundations, heal ancestral patterns around survival, and reimagine what it means to provide. And also, this is a great opportunity to re-examine what it is that you bring into the home, because Sipaklis are great providers. And so this is like looking at the food that you bring into your home, what you eat, so this is really looking at your personal health and what changes need to happen in order to ensure longevity. You are the root of the system. Tend to your soil. Some focus points for you is begin again with intention, build for sustainability, not just success. Wishing you all the best, Sipakli. Next, we have Ehekat. Ehekat, the wind. Your home is your breath. This year, your words really, really carry weight. So really think before you speak. Your thoughts shape reality. How you speak, especially to yourself, really matters. Your challenge is not to be swept away by the storm of misinformation and fear. Instead, become the calm wind that clears the space for clarity. Use your voice as a tool for shelter. And focus points for you, Hekat, are breathe before you speak and let your words build bridges, not walls. Next, we have Quetzalpalin. Wishing you the best, Hekat. Thank you. Quetzalpalin, the lizard. Your home is your body, your sensuality, your rhythm, your energy. This year, honor what your body knows. Adaptation doesn't mean shape shifting for others. It means honoring your own regenerative process, means honoring your time and your energy capacity, remembering that the lizard does not waste energy because it has to spend so many hours in the sun to recharge its energy. It's very considerate with how it uses that energy. and it doesn't take it for granted. And I think that's where the fault of Quetzalcoatl could sometimes be, is that there is a trust that you can regenerate or grow back your tail, etc. So you might deliberately put yourself at risk, just banking on, your reserves or your regenerative powers. So this is an opportunity to really just go back to that and honor your energy and your capacity more. Creativity will flourish when you balance your sacred rest with sacred action. So your focus points, Quetzalpali, is to tend to your energy like a sacred flame. Don't burn out for approval. Wishing you all the best, Quetzalpalin. Next, we have Calli. Calli. You're walking through a profound self-reclamation. This is really your year of coming home to yourself fully. What are you still housing that no longer belongs? Whether it's clutter, relationships, or internalized beliefs, it's time to sweep the floors, really clear out. Maybe it's time to move or shift the energy around, rearrange, really have a deep cleaning, releasing things that have long overstayed. You're both the house and the keeper. For you, the focus points, Calli, is to set boundaries that protect peace, and you are worthy of shelter. Wishing you all the best, Calli. Now, next we have Goat. Goat, any other snakes in the house? I'm a Goat. So for us little snakies, I have home is in your vibration, your wisdom, your inner knowing. Home is under the stars, the cosmos. You are in a deep process of shedding, possibly around your identity, business, or relationships. Let what needs to fall, fall. The influence you carry this year is immense, but it must be wielded with integrity. Focus points, Goat, is lead with wisdom, not reaction. Make your presence healing. Also, plant a garden. It's a great time to dive into the soil. Now for me, Gisli, your home this year is silence. Endings will come, not to destroy you, but to transition you. Rest is your greatest ally. Ancestral portals are open to you now. Lean into prayer, ceremony, and the unseen. This is a great time to renew your altar or create an altar, especially if you don't have one. But the altar at home is really going to call you. And sometimes that altar is you. Being able to explore the relationship of the sacred in your home is of utmost importance for you, Mikisli, this year, inviting your ancestors back into the home and maybe even honoring ancestral traditions and practices in the home. This could be a year where you're pulling out old recipes, or you're asking your mom to give you some of your grandmother's recipes, or really looking at those regional recipes. I don't know, just thinking, I see you cooking and I see you really tapping into ancestral practices and bringing them home, and just also looking at what in the home has expired. It's like sometimes we keep things that are, we're going to fix or no longer work, or we say these things, but the reality of it is that we don't do anything about it. So maybe time to let go of those kinds of things. So those are the transitions and changes that I'm seeing for you in your home, Mikisli. Here are some focus points for you. Grieve what is gone. Prepare space for what is coming. Okay, Mikisli, wishing you all the best. Tochli, home is joy, but joy needs protection. You're asked to find abundance in simplicity, to create beauty in the burrow. When I think about Tochli, I think about how the rabbit lives. It lives in these little communities underneath the earth, and it's warm and it's cute. I think about, y'all remember Beatrix Potter? I think she's an English author, but she would draw these beautiful little cottage core style imagery, the bunnies all like cozy in their homes. And I really think that Tochli knows how to build a home that is centered around joy and comfort and fun and like play, creativity, the inner child. And let's say if you're hearing this and you're like, my house is not like that. Well, maybe this is the year to really dive into that. I'm hilariously thinking of that one movie, Step Brothers, where they're sharing a room and they move things around and they're like, look, there's so much room for activities. And so I think for you, Tochli, it's time to make room for activities, to make room for fun. And let's say you want to craft, or let's say you want to, there's a project you and your partner or you and your family or just you want to go into. Maybe you want to buy yourself a drum set or something. And now it's about making room for that. And also the garden. And this could also be a great time for the garden. And if there's any goats out there that are still listening, I forgot to mention the garden. But anyway, I think for you, Tochli, this is a great time to plant the garden, plant the vegetables. Sensitivity will rise, but it's not a weakness. It's a compass. Build a home where your inner child feels safe. And focus points for you, Tochli: create a ritual of celebration, make joy a part of your structure. Mazatl, your home is in nature. You are medicine. This year calls you to reconnect with the land, especially if you felt disconnected. This is a great time to really commit to going on those weekend hikes, those walks. Even if, let's say, you don't have access to being out in the mountain or by the ocean or wherever, going on a walk in the neighborhood, choosing the streets that have more trees, finding a way to connect with nature. Remember that your gentleness is power. Your body is asking for sacred slowness. Don't mistake rest for regression. Focus points for you, Mazatl, are to walk lightly and return to your wildness. Wishing you all the best, Mazatl. Now we're looking at water. Home is flow. Emotions are sacred teachers. You may face periods of grief, release, or overwhelming intuition. This can be a year of getting really clear with what is needed in the home. Also, this is the year of like keeping your house clean. You might feel challenged by that as well. But like, what is cleanliness in when it comes to the home? And also the mind. As much as water is about our emotions, it's most importantly about the mind and keeping your head clear so that you can get done what you need to, especially at home. Let the current carry what no longer belongs. Make your home a place where feelings are welcome and not punished. Focus points for you, water, at cleanse your space regularly. Bathe in your truth. Wishing you all the best, at. Next we have Itzcuintli. Home is devotion. Family, chosen or blood, will be at the center of this year. You may be called to protect someone or yourself, your boundaries, the boundaries of your home. You could have questions of how far is the yard supposed to extend, those kinds of things on a more pedestrian level. Or it can just be having a gopher or having like a wasp nest, or really feeling the encroaching of the outside in and what that may mean. You may want to expand, or you may actually find yourself wandering away from home, as dogs sometimes do. Remember, the medicine of the dog is that it always knows how to return home. Another thing for you, Itzcuintli, is that loyalty must be mutual. As much loyalty that you expect from others, you too must be loyal. But also, do not sacrifice your wellness for the comfort of others. Focus points for you, Itzcuintli: check your boundaries. Walk beside those who respect your path. Wishing you all the best, Itzcuintli. Next, we have malinali. Malinali. Home is humility. You are persistent, strong, and rooted in ancient cycles of death and rebirth. But this year asks for surrender. Let your softness guide you. Old stories may unravel, but they are compost for new growth. And for you, Malinali, your garden is going to be so important for you this year, not just like your physical one, but your metaphoric one. And I think it's going to be a year managing the overgrowth, what hasn't grown. Looking at Malinali, we're looking at the weeds, uh, and just acknowledging that the time where the plants and our energy dies back is just as necessary for the growth. So just honor those sacred cycles. For you, the focus points is to honor your rituals and return to simple medicine. This might be the year where you're treating yourself with teas and really looking into plant medicine or planting herbs in your garden, for a more literal interpretation. But wishing you all the best, Malinali. Also, Matli, home is play. Laughter is medicine. You are the joy bringer, the mirror, the connector, but make sure you're not performing joy for others while ignoring your own needs. This is about being honest with yourself and honoring your personal time and energy because you're so interconnected and love community. And for those that are like, no, I don't, this is time to go out and go out into community. But for those that whose boundaries are more open and allow others to come in and out. I'm sort of seeing a revolving door. This might be the time where you are more firm with those boundaries and sort of keeping like business and pleasure separate, or kindly, not kicking someone out, but kindly setting those boundaries for those and that which has overstayed its welcome. And or also for you, it's like what is getting in the way of more joy and laughter and play, especially in the home. And if I forgot what other sign it was for the rabbit, if you have any rabbit energy as well, also Matli, you might want to look at that message. But I think it's also making room for play and activities as well for you in the home is going to be most important. And also, like, when I think the duality of also matli that we often overlook is the aggression that can sometimes come, or it's like, pay attention to community, home, family, or maybe there's some bullying, or, where community sort of gets together to nitpick others, and sort of avoiding that energy, or even looking and seeing how you're contributing to that. You might find yourself in a position where you're more organizing community this year, and I see like community gardens and coming together. Maybe you're going to the local farmers market, those kinds of things. I see you being out in your local community more and maybe doing some organizing for those that are organizers. Otherwise, you might just be someone that attends, but that's the kind of thing that I see for you, Somatli. I see you connecting with your local community, your home, the environment, the neighborhood, and what that means for you. Some of the focus points for Yosamatli is to prioritize joy that feeds you. Let your light be genuine. Wishing you all the best, Yosamatli. Next, we have Akat. Akat, home is structure. You're being called to rebuild routines, return to disciplines, and cut away from distractions. And I'm not saying this in a rigid way because Akat teaches us to be more flexible with ourselves and with others. This is if you're a particularly like rigid person or is all about routine, this might be the year where you let go of some of that and are more flexible and allow yourself to spend more time at home. It's like you might be someone that's like, it's Wednesday and I have to go here, like not religiously, but you're very diligent about the appointments that you keep and what you miss or you don't miss. And this might be the year where you let go of some of that, you surrender some of that in favor of being more at home, focusing more on what are some of your inner needs. And also, this could be building routines at home and building some structure, especially if you don't have that, or more loose, you kind of have to gauge it for yourself. And this could also be for you, Akat, is like you're near the completion of something. Like maybe you've been wanting to remodel your home or you've been saving up for a home or something. And this is about getting structured and more organized in order to make those goals happen for yourself in the home. Wishing you all the best. Akat. Next we have Ocelot. Ocelot. Home is shadow. This year, your intuition is heightened. You may uncover hidden truths, step deeper into your spiritual gifts, or walk through darkness to reclaim your power, especially in the home. This is also about inviting the sacred, magic back into your home, seeing how the interconnectedness of all things, all living things, all cosmic things. This is the year of bringing that magic home. This could be deepening your spirituality, your intuition, your connection to the divine, and bringing that home. This could look like making your space a more magical place, making it feel more sacred. This could be altars, this could be sacred artwork, like, I don't know, whatever that means to you. And this is also about feeling protected. Maybe this could be you putting out wards or putting some talismans or cositas to protect your home, being like more energetically protective over yourself, others, and your home. I also see something like that. There's like a fierceness, and there's also an understanding that you are protected. So that could be something that I'm seeing for you, Ocelots. Your focus points are to protect your energy and to walk with sacred stealth. This is definitely the year, keep your projects to yourself, act in silence, move in silence, calculate before you strike, before you make your kill, before you make your move. Just be calculating, stealthy, prepared, and you'll be able to catch your prey. Wishing you all the best, Ocelot. Next, we have Coscacuautli. Home is transformation, Coscacuautli. You carry alchemy. You recycle pain into wisdom. This year brings purification, maybe even death of an identity or a role. It's time to let it all compost. Speaking of compost, this might be the year where you're like gathering your scraps at home. And this is bringing in that amazing power that you have to transform things and bringing new life to old things. This could be the year where you're upcycling, old furniture, instead of buying something new, giving it a nice paint job, sewing clothes, fixing things, instead of throwing it out. This is about renewing, giving things at home a new life is what I see for Vulture. You're preparing for a sacred rebirth. This is a time to be patient, especially when it comes to matters of the home. Just know that these things will be resolved. But this may be the year of having to make do with what you've got. And there's no shame in that. The things that you need will come. You will be provided for. This is the matter of, enjoying the process of bringing new life. This is an important process. The death aspect is an important process. You might be throwing things out or finding things in the street or the thrift shops and just bringing new life to things. I think this is a great energy. One of my favorite energies, to be honest. Okay, now for you, focus points, Coscacuautli, is to trust the rot. Fertile ground is forming. Rot is also sacred. Wishing you all the best, Coscacuautli. Next, we have Cuautli, the eagle. Cuautli, home is vision. You're meant to soar above and to see what others cannot. This is the year where you may be called into leadership, into freedom, especially in matters of the home. You may have to take the lead, have to make certain decisions. In matters of the home, maybe you become the main breadwinner. it's important that you don't clip your wings in order to belong. Don't fly lower, in order to be accepted. You're meant to see ahead. You're meant to be that visionary. That's a sacred role that Gautli individuals have. It's the ability to be able to see the obstacles ahead of time. It's really a gift. So don't let anything or anyone stop you from continuing to dream and have those visions. This could be the year where you're reimagining what your home could look like. This could be maybe you're thinking about moving abroad, moving to another country, or just looking at the bigger picture when it comes to matters of the home and the sustainability and being able to expand beyond the home. Freedom is a really big theme for you, as it always is in this life. But this year is the year of home. We're able to look at that in the broader spectrum. Now, for you, Kwautlin, the focus points are to make your space reflect your clarity. Fly toward what nourishes you. Wishing you all the best, Kwautlin. Next, we have Olin. Olin, home is momentum. You are action and sacred alignment. This year calls you to move, but only if your movements are rooted with intention, with love, and alignment of what feels right at home. This is a year to slow down. No more rushing. This could be I'm going to go home year. I'm going to move toward home, wanting to go home. This could be the year where the movements are more internal. Move like the earth itself. I'm also going to say this could be a year where you're maybe focusing back on the self, your health, where you're like, I need to have more movement in my body. This could be like getting a treadmill, or this could be getting a new car. Like how you go home, how you get home is going to be of particular importance, whether symbolically, or literally like your home. I feel like those are themes that are going to emerge for you this year. Also, how you move at home and like who you are at home and how's that different from, what you put out there. Focus points for you, Olin, are to align before acting. Let your body lead. Wishing you all the best, Olin. Now for Tekpact, home is truth. This year demands clarity, depth, and discernment. You may find yourself cutting ties, speaking truth, or stepping fully into your mind's brilliance, especially when it comes to matters of the home. I can also see you letting go of things, cutting back subscriptions, cutting back on, rations, or cutting back on, certain budgets that you're, maybe you've overspent or you're seeing no longer function, cutting off certain things that just don't work for you anymore. I think this is about making room. This is about really analyzing the home and seeing what changes need to be made. You might get a new pair of knives this year in the home. And just looking at the sharpness of things, a more literal interpretation. But lots of bright new ideas could also be coming in regards to the home, what it is that you want to do. Maybe you want to redecorate, let go of things. I see you also just releasing a lot when it comes to the home. This could also be like looking at your clothes and like you could be cutting t-shirts or, just sort of, you could be like cutting old styles, letting go of old styles and things like that. Yeah, and like also taking matters into your own hands is something that I'm getting for you, Tekbak. Tekbak, your focus point is to sharpen your inner blade, speak what must be spoken, especially to family and, those closest to you. Wishing you all the best, Tekbak. Kiyawit, home is blessing. You are in a year of emotional renewal and abundance, but it'll require release, cleansing. It's a time to let it rain, let the flood come. This is a year of sensitivity. Really, I'm seeing like cozy home vibes, really also leaning into what needs to be like cleaned out. There could be a lot of uncovering truths, releasing But all of this is preparing you for new growth. So this is necessary. There could be a lot of emotions going on in the house. I think definitely the moods and sensitivity is going to take the center stage for you this year. Focus points for you is to tend to what's blooming, making sure that you are adopting a gratitude practice. So say thank you often. Wishing you all the best, Kiyawit. Next and finally, we have Xochitl. Xochitl, for you, home is expression. You are blooming. This year brings opportunities to share your gifts in new ways. Don't wait for permission. Beauty is a form of protection. For you, Xochitl, this is a great year to really bring flowers to your home. If you don't already, make sure there's like flowers weekly if you can, giving those ofrendas, sharing your gifts, sharing your talents with your family and your loved ones. Sometimes we share our talents with the world, or maybe someone needs a little bit of help and it's like, okay, fine, I'll help you draw this, or I'll help you do this, or sharing your art, beautifying your home. This is a year potentially redecorating, but this is really just bringing things into completion for you as well, Xochitl, making sure that you're definitely tying off those loose ends. And also you're receiving your flowers and your recognition, especially from your family and your loved ones, and that you're also recognizing your family and your loved ones for their accomplishments as well. For you, focus point, Xochitl, is to surround yourself with art. Let your life be a canvas. That concludes the predictions for all the tonales for this year. I hope that it is well received. May this year bring you back to yourself. May it cleanse what no longer serves. May it bless your home in whatever form that it takes. We are ending a cycle, piloncillos, and a new sun is coming. You're not alone in this transition. Keep listening, keep remembering, and keep choosing what brings you home. Tlasakamati, ometeot. Until next time, piloncillos, stay sweet.